Welcome to this launch of the Community Solar at Paddington Square project. Welcome to this first, yes, thank you. Welcome to this first community solar project to go online in the county, and the first to set aside subscriptions for lower earning households under the pilot for community solar in Pepco territory in Montgomery County. This project brings equitable access to renewable energy to county residents, including those at this property. I am Tom Deyo, CEO of the Montgomery County Green Bank, and I am the MC for this today. The Montgomery County Green Bank is a nonprofit created by the county to accelerate investment in clean energy and to help the county deliver on its goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to 0% by 2035. I am the chosen representative of the incredibly dedicated team that brought this project to fruition. This team worked diligently and persevered to make this project real. This team includes Groundswell, who championed this with the Green Bank and moved it from a vision to this reality. The Housing Opportunities Commission, who offered without hesitancy to allow this site, to be the host for this project. It took Sunlight General Capital, who brought their optimism and their energy to this mission-based project. It brought SunCatch Energy, who brought their expertise to install this project, and the Green Bank, who brought its capital in partnership with Sunlight General Capital to support the project and the low-moderate income component. It has been an honor to work with this team. You will hear from them later in this program. And I wish to thank for joining us today, Mr. County Executive Elrich. Is County Vice President Albornoz here? Yes, thank you, sir. Didn't see you. Appreciate you being here. Councilmember Jawando will be here, but he'll be later in the program. State Delegate Charkoudian. There we go. Thank you. Cindy Gibson from the Councilmember Friedson's office. Thank you, Cindy. Paul Ellis from Council President Hucker. Thank you. The partners that made this project possible, and all of you who are supporters of the county's work. I also wish to recognize our board member here, Bonnie Norman, Adam Ortiz, and I think there's Adam back there. Thank you. So, I've been in many meetings with many people, and I've been talking about this project for a long time. And you probably wondered, really? Really? Really, Tom? Is this happening? It's here, it's happening, and it's now. And it's here, you don't see it, but if you look at that center poster, you can see that the project is on these roofs. It's under construction right now, and it should be delivered by September. So it is real. Trust me, the picture does not lie. This project's been coming for a long time. It's been such a collaborative effort of all the parties to make this happen. We persevered. We believed in the mission to bring this 286 kilowatt community solar project to the people of Montgomery County. Community solar is different in that it gets built here, but the solar generation is subscribed out to households around the county in increments of about 3 kilowatt per household. So you take that 286 kilowatt solar array, you divide it by 3, and that's how it gets subscribed out to the county residents. So this means that a household in a rental home or in a home that they can't put solar on their home can still participate in the solar renewable energy on a project right here in their community. And it gets to the county goals because this project will reduce greenhouse gas emissions by over 235 metric tons each year. 51 cars taken off the road each year. And importantly for this project is that 30% of the 91 subscriptions will go to lower earning renter and owner households. In this way, this project helps bring equity and access to solar renewable energy as stressed in the county's recently enacted Climate Action Plan and in the Green Bank's mission. And for myself, this project shows the value of the Green Bank to bring new projects and new ideas to the county. I wish to recognize, in particular, some very dedicated team members of the organizations that made this happen. Michelle Moore, Emily Robichaw, and David Wright from Groundswell. David and Emily stayed on this project from day one. They dedicated numerous hours, countless hours on the phone time with me to see this through. Thank you for your dedication. Stacy Hughes from Sunlight General. There you are, Stacy. Thank you. Kayrine Brown from the Housing Opportunities Commission. Is Zach Marks make it or not? No, he didn't. Child duty. Brad Boston from SunCatch. There he is in the back. And Steve Morrell and Cindy McCabe from the Green Bank. There you are. So, this is really happening. It really is happening. It's been a long time getting here, but all of us recognize how long this has taken, and thank you for your dedication to it. So, and thank you all for joining us today. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Kayrine Brown from the Housing Opportunity Commission to welcome you to the site of this project.
Wow, good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning, and thank you all for coming. My name is Kayrine Brown, and I'm the Acting Executive Director at the Housing Opportunities Commission. And it's really a new position for me there, though I've been with HOC for a little over 23 years. Paddington Square is a very interesting property for me. Because when HOC exercised its right of first refusal to purchase the property in 2003, we closed in 2004, we thought it was really important and critical for HOC and for the county to preserve this asset as affordable, in particular because of its location between Silver Spring and Chevy Chase, Bethesda. And so while it was a little bit of a choppy start, at the time the property had some challenges inside the community and for the community around it. And the price tag, at the time, we had to match a contract. And then we found later on, as we took ownership of that, the property needed a lot more work to make it sustainable and to serve the families that are mostly of low and moderate incomes. And so the county, DHCA in particular, Mr. Rick Nelson, who is currently on our commission, was very helpful in that we marched up to DHCA with our bucket and say, we need help, because HOC did not have the resources to make the property what it is today. And so thanks to the county, even back then, for its efforts to make this a sustainable asset for HOC and for the county. And we're thrilled to be able to participate in this first community solar event. And so just want to take a minute or so to reflect on HOC and the things that we do there, all in the name of providing affordable housing to the families of Montgomery County. And in doing so, we're also creating market rate housing. And so while we sometimes appear to push the envelope, it's all in the name of affordable housing. How much can we get and how far can we expand it to? And I'd like to acknowledge some of our commissioners that are here today. Chair of our commission, Roy Priest, Commissioner Jackie Simon, and Vice Chair of the Commission, Francis Kelleher. They have been highly supportive of this project, and when we first brought it, clearly it was new. It's not your typical affordable housing idea, and so once we ironed out some of the technical aspects of it, they were all on board. They were all in, and so we're pleased that today we're able to offer community solar, but also because of HOC's commitment to the project and commitment to serving low and moderate income families, the commission elected to forego its annual lease for the space, the space above the on the roof, and so we were able to provide to increase the number of low and moderate income families we're serving from 14 to 29, and that's pretty significant. And in particular, we fought for some of those resources to be directed back to the project-based voucher residents at Paddington Square. So it is for the community, but we didn't ignore Paddington Square, and so we were able to serve families here. So again, HOC is in the business of housing. We're always looking for ways to get people housed, keeping them housed, and helping them reach their full potential. And I think this project, in partnership with the Green Bank and Groundswell, will allow us to do that. So to reflect a little bit on the opportunity here. It is often in our society, in this community, that low and moderate income folks, because they don't have the resources to pay, that they're overlooked. And that is really excluding an important part of our community. And so the ability to provide clean air, clean energy alternatives to our families, particularly low-income families, is it's really important for HOC, and we are really serious about the impact HOC through its developments, not just Paddington Square, but as we are moving through the county, rehabbing our existing buildings and even building new, we are committed to climate change and to make positive impacts and benefit our low and moderate income families as well. So I'd like to, I've recognized the members of the commission that are here. There are some HOC staff who have been with this project from the very beginning, and we've worked, answered questions, tweaked the program, worked with Groundswell, and here we are. We think it's going to be a resounding success. I'd like to also thank the our local government, the county executive, the staff that we've worked with. Tom, you've been persistent, and you know, it is that and your work with Groundswell that allows us to be here celebrating this today. I'd like to thank, again, Groundswell, Sunlight Capital, SunCatch Energy, because all together, and our friends at Pepco, all together, it has been a big team effort. And while we're celebrating the first solar community solar project in the county, we know that it's not the last. It is an example of what can be achieved with us focused in the right direction, supporting the county executive climate action plan, supporting even our own staff and commission with respect to making a difference in our communities and reducing our carbon footprint. So again, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for your support, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, Kayrine. So, Mr. County Executive, I invite you to join us here, and I know you've been hearing about it, and it is on the roof, sir, and I know you're interested in those.
Thank you. I am really excited about this project, and I want to thank HOC for seeing this project through. This is vitally important, and I'm particularly happy because, frankly, the solar project on top of this roof means that these apartments will not be torn down and that these people displaced. So it's a double victory. It's good for the residents here, but it also makes sure they get to maintain affordable housing. And frankly, if you read the master plan for this area, this was slated to be obliterated. So I'm really thrilled that this is staying in place here. I want to thank the Green Bank for your leadership on this, and I share your vision on this. You know, my hope is that every garden apartment in Montgomery County gets blanketed with this, and their parking lots too. I didn't see anything out there yet, but these are all sources of electricity that we can grab, and we need to figure out how we can grab all of the electricity, all the potential electricity that is landing on county spaces so that we can move forward with our climate goals. How many people have read our climate plan? Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. So if you notice, the first chapter starts with a discussion about equity, because we're all too aware that if this had been a market rate project without any help, it might have been hard for the tenants to stay here. So we could be greener, but we would also be less equitable. We would displace people as the price of becoming cleaner. We can't do that. That's not a trade-off that's going to work in the long run. So being able to do projects like this, where we can both be green and we can be equitable, is absolutely essential. And I promise you, I will do everything I can. We'll continue to work with our permitting so that this is a possibility on every project in Montgomery County, every garden apartment that looks like this. I know that Pepco is here. We would have a hard time doing this on a condo right now because of little glitches and how condos are treated different than this, but I dearly hope that we can get over this, because I want every condo building. You know, one of the things that we've sent forward to the council is the what's called BEPS, which is Building Energy Performance Standards. all existing buildings have to raise their energy profile or lower their energy profile, depending on your perspective, so that they're cleaner and greener going forward. That's not possible without things like this. But if every garden department, whether it's in the hands of a nonprofit or in the hands of a for-profit organization, every apartment that adopts this, and particularly if they're a taller building and only have parking lots, everything they adopt helps drive them toward those goals. So if we're going to achieve those goals, this is the kind of project that helps us see where the future goes and what's possible here. So I am thrilled about what's happening in Washington. There's a lot of money coming to people who are ready to spend it. And I've told people every time I talk with somebody from our congressional delegation that one thing about Montgomery County is we're not in the theoretical stage of this anymore. We're not interested in giving me study money to figure out what we're going to do or develop a plan. We have a plan. We need money to activate that plan. And so we're going to go hard after the federal money to make sure we can put money into projects like this so we can be a partner. We're going to make sure this gets spread throughout the county. I noticed that Sunroof said that 3/4 of all buildings in Montgomery County are solar viable. That's a lot of real estate. And that's, again, just the buildings. We keep forgetting about the parking lots. But a lot of these places have very large parking lots. The more we capture, the more we win. So I'm excited about that. We've generated over 100,000 megawatt hours of electricity from solar residential rooftops through the county. And I've lived here since 1960. And I saw the solar revolution kind of take off a little bit slowly. But every time I drive through neighborhoods now, I see more and more solar rooftops. And the best ambassadors for a solar rooftop are the people who put them on themselves. If your neighbor comes up to you and said, I made this conversion and I want to show you my electric bill, that's a lot more persuasive than even us standing up here and saying we think everybody should go solar. So we hope to turn our residents into ambassadors for solarizing the county. I've told people this before. If COVID hadn't been the story, I used to say for the last year, now it's the last 18 months, and I'm sure it'll be the story for a while. But if that hadn't been the story of this last period, climate change would have been the story of the last period. We are headed into a flat-out disaster. It is not a joke. It's not hypothetical anymore. We don't need any more stinking studies. It is just going to happen. And we've got to do everything we can to alter that trajectory. We have the ability to do this. We have the will to do it. There's not going to run into any political obstacles in doing this. There's nobody going to argue about whether this should go on a rooftop. It's going on rooftops. We've got to make sure we build as much of this as we can. And I like it because this is close to the point of consumption. This is really helpful. Anything I put through transmission lines, we all know you lose some of the electricity as it goes through transmission lines. The more we can place at the location where the electricity is going to be used, the more effective that electricity is. So I'm all in. I'm glad you've been all in. You've been all in since we created the Green Bank, and I think we're beginning now to see what the Green Bank can really do. This is so very exciting. And Adam, you've been really, a good leader on this, and I'd be remiss not to call out Lorig because, you're probably like our greatest champion in Annapolis. You get this, and you fight it with a passion that few people bring to the job, and you're persistent and dogged. And you'll fight a battle even if you're not sure you're going to win a battle. And I like people who fight battles whether or not they're going to win, because a good battle and a right battle is the right battle. Whether or not you win that battle doesn't determine whether what you did was right. What determines what you did was right was what was the outcome you were trying to achieve. And I really do appreciate the work. And Adriana, thank you so much. Your title is Czarina. I'm not sure that's an official county title. And I'm not sure I would put czar in there, but it's there. And, just another example of someone in our administration who's completely dedicated to this. And I want to thank the folks from DPS. I don't know if anybody's here from that department, but the willingness to adopt and take on these projects so that it's possible to do and not snag them in red tape and overly expensive, pointless things sometimes we try to achieve in Montgomery County. It's a good example of getting things done right. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be here today. I'm looking forward because I think this example, when you start showing bills to other property owners and show what this can do, it should be an incentive to everybody to take this step. I want to make sure we've got the money and the resources to back this up. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. Next, Mr. County Vice President, County Council Vice President Albornoz. We had a chance to participate on affordable housing, and so I know this is near and dear to your heart. So thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Hello, good people. Today represents hope. Today represents innovation. Today represents collaboration. And today represents the future. This is an extraordinarily exciting project that I'm sure took thousands of hours of coordination, of troubleshooting, of collaboration to make sure that we arrived here today. And so I want to thank all of the partners who have worked tirelessly to make today possible. Because as the county executive so eloquently mentioned, this is a spark. This feels historic. But we know that there will be many more of these projects moving forward, and there will need to be many more of these projects forward if we are collectively as a community going to get serious about tackling climate change here, not just in Montgomery County, but across the world. It is depressing and overwhelming when you see the news of the climate change impacts that are happening everywhere, including right here at home. And the plan that the county executive laid out is an impressive plan with very achievable goals, but without action, it's just a plan. Today represents action. And so on behalf of my colleagues on the county council and our council president who couldn't be here today, we want to express our support and our tremendous thanks for the many hours and tireless work that went into making today possible. I have 4 kids under the age of 12, and every generation's responsibility is to make sure that the generation coming behind us is left something much greater than us. This is that, and there will be many more opportunities moving forward. So I'll close with this thought. I have learned so much about Montgomery County and becoming a council member over these last 3 years. Worked in the county for 12 years as the director of the rec department. Thought I knew a lot about Montgomery County going into this job. Turns out I didn't know nearly as much as I thought. But one of my first meetings was with Tom and his Green Bank team. And the light bulb went off as soon as they left the room, because the potential of the Green Bank is extraordinary. And I want to thank our colleagues and friends in the Housing Opportunity Commission, and especially our commissioners who had the foresight to greenlight and support this project. And of course, the many staff members and other business leaders that came together today. There will be many more of these in the future, and thank you all so much for making today possible. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Vice President Albornoz. Sorry, thank you. So next, I don't think Councilmember Jawando has showed up. Oh, he's here. Great, sir. Councilmember Jawando, glad you could join us. Thank you for joining.
Just in the nick of time, almost, I guess. Good to see everybody. How are you, commissioners? My council vice president, Councilmember Albornoz, bouncing around between a lot of events, but really happy to be here. Couldn't miss this one. This is a big day, and I'm sure she's got a lot of praise already, but I wanted to give a special shout out to Delegate Lorig Charkoudian, who has been a ferocious advocate for community solar prior to being elected. Yes, we can clap for her. Prior to being elected and after being elected. And obviously everyone that's here, all the colleagues, I see Delegate Pam Queen and everyone else. This is going to be the first of hopefully many community solar projects that we see in Montgomery County. The stars have aligned. We just a few weeks ago, I welcomed Secretary Jennifer Granholm here for the county's piloting adoption of the Solar App Plus, which will shorten the amount of time from about a week to hours to get residential solar approved. We just passed at the federal level, thanks to Senator Van Hollen, Senator Cardin, our congressional delegation to follow in the House, a landmark infrastructure bill that will allow us to leverage and further deploy this type of green technology, protecting our environment, greening our grid, and helping communities like Paddington Square. And so I'm really excited to be here. I want to thank Tom and his team for their leadership and sticking with it through the pandemic when it wasn't always easy. I see HOC here as well. They're great partners, DEP, Adam Ortiz. We're all in this together. My college classmate, who you probably heard from, William from Pepco. This is a community effort, and we're going to have to get it done. We have to save our environment. It's the right thing to do. It's the right moral thing to do. It's the right economic thing to do. It's great for these residents. It's great for our county. So I just wanted to come by and say thank you, Tom. Thank you to the Green Bank, and let's keep doing more of these. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jawando. Next up, State Delegate Charkoudian. We'd love to have you come up here. She's been a champion. I did have a chance to visit her home. She's got an amazing home, solar, geothermal. She's a true champion and lives the game as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Well, thank you all. Delegate Lorig Charkoudian. I represent District 20, and I serve on the Economic Matters Committee and the Public Utilities Subcommittee with my fantastic colleague Pam Queen, who I want to make sure we give a shout out to. Her votes for clean energy have been really crucial as well. And thank you, Marc, I think, for the compliment that I am willing to fight a fight that may look like it's unwinnable. I certainly am. We need to take on fights that look unwinnable, but we have got to win these fights. We have got to win the fight for clean and equitable energy. We do not have another choice. The future of our planet literally depends on it. And I want to talk a little bit about why this project, why community solar in particular, and community solar that has an equity focus. So community solar generally has more of an equity focus because it offers the ability to be more inclusive. But community solar with a carve out that is explicitly committed to making sure that low-income individuals have an opportunity and have an ability to get a subscription in the project is absolutely the way that we need to do policy going forward. It's the way that we need to do solar policy. It's the way we need to do clean energy, geothermal policy, which we did. The policy we just passed this year has a carve out to make sure that 25% of geothermal RECs go to low-income communities. It's the way that we need to do all of our policy. And here's why. The fact that we are where we are in this climate crisis is because we have had a fossil fuel economy and an economy that has been willing to sacrifice people in order to move forward and for people to make money. And that has started with certainly our history of colonization and slavery, but it has gone on with the way that our fossil fuel economy is based is on sacrifice zones. And so there are parts of our country that we are willing to sacrifice the people and the land, starting with indigenous land where we pull the fossil fuels from and moving on to low-income black and brown communities where we burn those fossil fuels. We have been willing to sacrifice people to have the economic growth that we have had. And so as we move to a new kind of an economy, we absolutely have to shift to a clean energy economy. But we have to do it in a way that's equitable. We have to do it in a way that has jobs that pay good wages. And we have to do it in a way that the people who have suffered most from the consequences of climate change, from the fossil fuel pollution, from being in those sacrifice zones, that those people are first and front in line when there are benefits to be had from the clean energy economy. And if we don't figure out a way to do that, if we don't figure out a way to build this new clean energy economy, if we just put some solar panels on the roof and we put some wind turbines out on the mountains and we don't figure out a way to do it with equity, we will have replicated the same economy that has brought us this far, and we will have new problems, and we won't be coming out of this climate crisis. So this is one small piece of it. I'm so proud to work with so many of you as colleagues, and I invite you to continue to work with me in Annapolis to figure out not only how do we replicate this, but whatever those complicated things are with Pepco. I love working with Pepco through the complicated things. Whatever those complicated things are that keep us from being able to put to do this in the condos or to do this anywhere else, I'm happy to work on those policies, because sometimes it is in those nuanced, sometimes ridiculous bureaucratic hurdles that we keep ourselves from being able to move forward on this big picture that I know we all believe in. And so thank you all for your hard work to get to this point. Let's replicate it and let's keep working together.
Thank you. And I do want to recognize Delegate Queen for being here. Would you like to offer some remarks? No. Okay, thank you. And I understand Delegate Gilchrist was also here earlier but had to leave, so I also want to recognize him. So next up, I want to invite Adriana Hotchberg up, who's the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer. You heard Zarina. I just appreciate her as a great partner for us at the Green Bank. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. I would like to add my congratulations to the project team for the Paddington Square Community Solar Project. Harnessing the power of the sun that hits our rooftops is an important tool in the toolbox of solutions to address climate change. Thank you. As this past year has shown us, climate change is not a theoretical concept anymore. And as the county executive so eloquently put it, we can feel it in our bones now. What's been happening around the world and close to home, from historic floods and massive forest fires and heat domes, is just a prelude of what's to come. To give future generations a fighting chance, we must plant the seeds of greenhouse gas emissions reductions now. This community solar project offers immediate benefits to our neighbors by making electricity more affordable, as well as reducing reliance on fossil fuels in support of our county's climate action plan. Reaching the county's goal of 0 greenhouse gas emissions by 2035 requires teamwork and public-private partnership building. This project is a showcase of these principles in action. Montgomery County is fortunate to have the first local-level green bank in the nation. The Green Bank played a key part in making the Paddington Square project a reality. Let us leverage the know-how and lessons learned from this project to propel even more rooftop community solar efforts across the county. Thank you. Thanks, Tom, and I think I broke your mic.
Okay. We'll get this work. So thank you, Adriana. Appreciate those comments. So next we want to invite William Ellis up from Pepco. You've heard him talked about here, and they've been an important partner in this. We don't have an interconnection without the folks from Pepco helping us through that. So thank you, sir.
Thanks.
You may have to hold that.
I'll be brief. You cannot see the panels up there, but you can sure feel the light that's coming from the community today. I'll tell you that. At Pepco, we feel that powering our communities is one of the most important things that we can do as an active partner. And this project is just that. I am just really thankful for the leadership from the state delegate, Council Vice President Albornoz, Councilmember Jawando, and as well as our county executive and all the other leaders in our community that made this project happen today. So we definitely hear the message loud and clear. A true supporter of the county executive and the climate action plan, and is willing to do whatever we can do to make more of these projects come to fruition, because we know, as all, the future of our kids depend on it. So thank you all, and look forward to partnering with many more projects.
More. I hear that a lot. More, and that's what we're going to deliver on this as we go forward. So next I wanted to invite up Stacy Hughes from Sunlight General Capital, who's the owner, manager, developer of this, who it's been a great pleasure to work with over several years. Our emails are brief, succinct, and get to the point, and I appreciate that. We get this job done.
Well, I will attempt to be all of those things, perhaps with some futility, but obviously thank you so much to everyone for being here. I am the Chief Financial Officer of Sunlight General Capital. What we are is a private finance firm, so we're seeking to bring private money to projects like this all across the country. And County Executive Mr. Elrich spoke earlier that perhaps in this county alone, 75% of the roofs like this are at least potentially eligible. The carports are eligible. If you fly out of anywhere, you see so many buildings where it looks like solar could really be an option. And what's happened so far, and not bad things at all, we've seen a lot built in the deserts, the really large projects. There's a lot been done on residences. There's not been a lot done on buildings like this, and this is the opportunity. It's not 2% of the country. It's probably not 1% of these kinds of buildings have been done. And it's wonderful to see infrastructure dollars perhaps being allocated to them, but realistically, we need to bring private capital in as well to really expand and blow this out. And the great news is, and I can tell you this, my partner Bill and I, we came from a bank 10 years ago. We've worked in traditional finance, and we have no problem, none, raising money for projects like this. Investors of all kinds, individuals, large organizations, small organizations, they're super excited and they're interested, and this is a landmark project. The challenge is it is not easy. There's no roadmap for investing in something like this. And this is why this project is really important. And the team, I'm afraid I'm going to miss people. So many people have contributed to this project for years. Certainly the Green Bank bringing in some really innovative loans and just an attractive way to help buttress the private capital. You've got Groundswell that's just spent thousands of tireless hours developing and making it happen. You've got the HOC, someone remarked earlier, contributing a free roof. Well, now there's a lot more availability to not only bring in private capital, but also now we've got this 30% benefit for the low-income residents that are right here on the site. This is a really innovative model. There's not a lot like this that has happened, and it needs to. So thanking, Brad at SunCatch, who's also brought a lot of expertise. Again, I know I'm forgetting people, but that was the point I guess I want to make. There's an enormous amount of opportunity. There's a huge amount of interest in what I'll say I'm representing the financial community, and this is really a landmark project thanks to the team that spent so much time making it happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, you're going to go this
Thank
way.
you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Stacy. It has been an incredible team effort. So next I wanted to bring up Brad Boston from SunCatch. Where's Brad? There he is. Who he can attest to the fact that there are solar panels on the roof. He's been installing it, and he's been a great team member, and he's going to help us on Saturday on an educational component we're also doing here.
Hey, good morning, and thank everyone for coming. It's a privilege to work with such a strong group of people, and at the end of the project, actually build it. There's so much work that comes in before you build. I call the construction the end of it. That's the easy part. I'm a fourth generation electrical contractor. My great-grandfather and my great-granduncle were the city of New Orleans' first licensed black electricians. They electrified homes that didn't have electricity. So it's really quite a turn of events for me to be here to bring solar power, especially in this environment with the volatility in the climate, the volatility in the economy, to help with the environment, to help with people's living income. It's just a real treat. We get all of this awful news about what's happening, but to be on the cutting edge of the knife fighting against it, it's just a really good feeling. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Brad. Next, I'd like to invite up our chair from the Montgomery County Green Bank, Bonnie Norman. Come on up, Bonnie. From the moment Bonnie started, she was like, renewable energy. It's what we've got to do. So I greatly appreciate that urgency that you put into it. Bonnie?
Thank you, Tom. It's great to see all of you here today. It's such an honor and privilege to serve as board chair of the Montgomery County Green Bank and bring together amazing, innovative leaders, partners, policymakers, all dedicated to the visionary goals of the county. It really, we're in a race against the clock in climate change. Nowhere is safe, but really there's nowhere I'd rather be than Montgomery County with the kind of people around us here and the vision and the climate action plan that we have that's dedicated not just to advancing clean energy solutions and resilient solutions, but also doing it equitably and inclusively. And that too is the mission of the Green Bank. So we are delighted for this project. Paddington Square, HOC, thank you so much. We are delighted to work in support and advancing the climate action plan, and just know that it aligns with our mission too, of equity, of clean energy, of resilience, of a healthier, thriving, economically prosperous Montgomery County. That's what the Montgomery County Green Bank strives to do with its partners. And our challenge going forward, even as we celebrate Paddington Square, as you all have mentioned, is to do it 10 times further, 10 times faster, leveraging our limited public purpose money with private capital and the enthusiastic investors that are out there waiting to make a difference. So with that, thank you.
I think we're good. Thank you, Bonnie. And our last speaker, and I think she has a special guest, is Michelle Moore from Groundswell. Where's Michelle? There she. So while she makes her way up, so I sent this to Michelle. I said the best meeting I had in my first year was a meeting in D.C. in which Michelle was at, and she was talking there about equity and about what needed to happen. I said, someone I got to get to know. Contacted her. This project resulted, and it was the best meeting I had that first year. So thank you, Michelle.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be representing the Groundswell team. As you guys have heard, there has been a non-trivially sized army working on this project for just a minute now. And Tom, I bet you didn't know exactly how well we would get to know one another through this. But just for everybody here, everybody who's on the Groundswell team, raise your hand. Awesome. And then everybody who has had a hand in delivering this project today, raise your hand. All right, so it's a great group of people, great group of people. And as you've heard from many, this is a pioneering first. It is a landmark. As a project we want to replicate a whole lot too. And when you're doing pioneering things, it takes a little bit of patience because the first time you do stuff, it's hard. You got to blaze the way for the next folks to follow. And you also have to ask yourself, what fuels that patience? What fuels that effort? And I would say for myself, for our team, and I would imagine for pretty much everybody on this project, at the end of the day, it's really love. It's love for our neighbors. It's love for the places that we live. It's love for future generations. It's love for the more equitable clean energy economy that they're all working to build together and that this project really represents. And that's the reason that I am especially proud today to be able to welcome to the podium, one of the folks that we not only work with, but we work for. Because at the end of the day, Groundswell's mission and the reason we love community solar so much is that community solar lets you share power. And so, Ms. Rita Campbell, let's see. Right, oh, Ms. Campbell, please come on up. We've never met in person before. I just had your name, but I'm so grateful that you're here today to be able to share a little bit of your experience as a community solar subscriber working with Share Power. Ms. Campbell.
Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I'm the poster child for the moment. African-American female senior citizen at 68, living in Ward 5, Washington, D.C., a.k.a. Brookland, a.k.a. Michigan Park as well.
I don't believe the senior part.
Yeah, well, I'm a holistic practitioner, and the very reason we're here is about detox of the environment. And the detox that I did to heal myself has everything in the world to do with the heavy metals and the chemicals and the industrial waste that has permeated the air, the water, the food, all these pesticides. I was shocked to still see Roundup on the shelves at Lowe's. Things like that just really, really break my heart because so many consumers, it lies beneath their awareness that they are putting more and more load onto their immune systems, and then they don't recognize that the diseases that they suffer, that's the source. And it was the source for me for cancer, diabetes, arthritis, a whole litany of things about this long that I was able to eliminate through nutritional approaches to healing. So this situation we have now is really critical because it's not only about detoxing the environment, but you made the point very well about these communities that are sacrifice zones where there's so many people with low information who don't even recognize they're sucking up all of this industrial waste. Now, Groundswell came to my rescue because I had inherited a home, and it's a situation where these heritage trees have grown up to 80 to 100 feet. And as young people, we don't recognize the threats that lie beneath our noses. And it's gotten to a point where I don't want to lose the tree because I love the tree, but it doesn't allow me to pass shade analysis. So I couldn't install solar. And as a holistic practitioner, I had a website, greenreader.com, for years, just being an advocate for cleaning up the self through self-care and the environment. And I was like, how am I going to stay here? I can't get solar. The property's too tight to get geothermal. And of course, DC's permitting, it's $55 per inch. So cutting the tree down, which I didn't want to do, would be about $5,500 to $7,500 just for the permit. And then the quotes I get on cutting, about $8,500. So for low to moderate income people to get solar, if you're in any situation, it's just going to be with hindrances that grow up around you. It's just difficult. Nonetheless, Groundswell came to my rescue, and I can't remember at what point their existence rose up into my consciousness, because I was like, gee, this is a perfect solution for me to become a subscriber and be able to participate in decarbonization, the decarbonization campaign that's going on and that needs to spread. And I was like, gee, I've got to just move out of this house. But then it turns out that I could age in place and still participate in the campaign. And every quote I had gotten was $30,000 to $40,000, and I didn't see any logic. I don't know, it just seemed to me the highest logic would have been to purchase anyway, because you get the credits, and it would solar would be an investment that you can get a decent ROI on. And nonetheless, I couldn't even go down that road. So I am just so proud when I drive by St. Carmelites with their land covered in solar panels, and I do miss the wide open expanse, but it's really for a higher good, because we're in a critical place right now that we lost that green space. But you know, as the technology evolves, we'll be reducing the size of the panels. There's a lot of stuff that has to just evolve as we participate and we broaden our commitment. And the thing that's really good about this subscription deal is, on the other hand, is I have no maintenance, and you know, it's 99% just more of, well, less of a hassle than dealing with cleaning off panels in the winter, or worrying about whether some extreme weather event's going to throw a limb into the solar panel, and you know, just dealing with monitoring and all of that. This is so easy for me to just, this is an easier way for me to get that $500 off of my bill, because Pepco seems to have an endless increase going on every year. I don't know. But I do like the potential for the fossil fuel industry to really look at retrofitting their own business model so that they can participate in this sea change and become the heroes and heroines in this deal. Because why stick with something that's not only going to kill other people, but kill the promoters of the fossil fuels? And I was really sad to see that the credit was lost for EV buyers with this last legislation, but we'll see. I think there's going to be some a high rate of EV sales regardless. I think people are recognizing that we've got to put our money where our mouths are, regardless of what roadblocks are thrown. So so anyway, I just really appreciate Groundswell Community Solar for giving me the ability to help mitigate this climate change that we're facing, so that we don't have to have this sixth extinction come upon us in our lifetime. And I'm just here to promote that the more people that sign up, the greener and cleaner we can become. And I really thank you for the opportunity to share my experience.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us for the celebration. Thank you for everybody who participated and offered your remarks.
2, 1.